My mother and her husband were a dance team in Black Vaudeville called Slim and Sweets. And my mother got her start in Black Vaudeville through my Aunt Berta Lou, who was the captain of the chorus line at the Apollo Theater. So Aunt Berta Lou would be leading the chorus, and my mother's mother would prepare the food for all the chorus girls. My mother would bring it down to the Apollo and put the food down. Aunt Berta Lou said, get on the back line. And that's how she got into show business. My mother was a natural. She just enjoyed it. And from there, Aunt Berta Lou invited her to be a part of a cruise going to Buenos Aires. Wow. And at 16, that was her first professional job. Wow. And then when she got back, she met Slim, and Slim had just gotten out of the Army. And he was a dancer, and in those days, people would just, the choices of jobs were limited for Black people. So domestic work, preacher, religious, show business. And Slim and my mother just gravitated and had the natural talent. And they met each other, and Slim said to my mother, they're hiring in, I believe it was Texas, and they need a duo. You want to go? And they put the act together and created a dance and comedy act. And that was also a big part of the traveling show. They would have comedy teams and teams that did both dancing and comedy, and singers, and then the headliners. And so she traveled. Slim and Sweets would travel the circuit. And of course, my father, Louis Armstrong, was famous before the circuit, famous from New Orleans, but really became famous when he went to Chicago and then to New York during the Harlem Renaissance with Fletcher Henderson's band. I didn't experience the Chitlin Circuit with him, but I did get to travel with him as a young child. So they had an arrangement, even though my parents didn't marry, he would spend time with us. And when I was very young, I would actually go on the road with my mother and he. So he was the first person that I actually saw perform live. I was in the audience or backstage, but I was, a toddler when I started seeing live shows. But I wrote the book because the relationship started after my mother's husband passed away in 1950. My mother and Louis and his wife and Slim, they were all friends. As I said, they all hung out together, they traveled together, they worked several times together. But the friendship became more after Slim passed away, and they began their relationship. And I did not experience them together outside of us traveling, but they lasted throughout the rest of his life. And, he supported us, and I got to experience him through audio letters, through written letters, and their relationship, they made it work the best they could, but it was disappointing for my mother that it didn't end in marriage as she had hoped it would. But he did take care of us. But I was very fortunate, as I said, to actually get to see him perform.